Hi, welcome back to Mr. Slover's Math. Today we're going to focus on factoring trinomials. So a trinomial, as a refresher, is just an expression with three terms. And remember, a term is separated by an addition or subtraction sign. So our warm-up is getting us ready for that. What are the factors of 15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5? What operation does the word sum imply? That means you're going to be adding something. And the word product means that you are going to multiply. So our goal today, before we get into this sign chart, our goal today is to go from here, factoring this trinomial, into this. And that's our goal. And in order to get this, the quantity x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 8, we need to know a few things. And this chart is going to come in handy. Instead of guessing what numbers we're going to use, this will eliminate some of that in order to make it a little bit easier to figure out what we need. So a sign chart. So this is just saying if this is my trinomial, and it doesn't mean that it has to be x squared minus 8x plus 15. It just means I'm looking at the signs. I'm looking at the operations. A minus, a plus, a plus, a plus, a minus, a minus, a plus, a minus. If those are my operations, if those are my signs, then what's over here is true. If it goes minus plus, both factors will be negative. If it goes plus plus, both factors will be positive. If it goes minus minus, the larger factor will be negative, which means the smaller factor is positive. And then the plus minus says the larger factor will be positive, which means the smaller one is negative. Now, right now, this sign chart doesn't make a whole lot of sense because all I've done is read it and I haven't applied it to anything. So in the next example, we'll apply it and then we'll apply it again for all the remaining examples on today's notes. And you'll see just how important or how beneficial this sign chart is. So it's asking us to factor the following expression. There are steps to do this. We've got 4 steps. The first one is to list the factors of the last term. Now I said the last term, so the yellow goes with the yellow. Here's my factors of 40. 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. After that, I need to determine the sign of each factor, and that's where this chart comes in. So it says plus, plus. So I go up here and I find plus, plus. Both factors will be positive, so that's why I wrote red pluses beside everything. The third step is determine which ones add to give me the middle number. So this is why that sign chart is beneficial, because I list my signs, whether they're positive or negative, and it makes it easier to figure out which one adds to give me 13. So 5 plus 8 adds to give me 13. And then the final step is to write my answer. I should have 2 sets of parentheses along with the appropriate factors and variable. So I use the letter X because there's X in the expression. And I chose 5 and 8 because those were my factors. 5 times 8, the product of 5 and 8 is 40. The sum of 5 and 8 is 13. So that's how this works. So now let's see some more that we have to work through. So this is just to help you a little bit. You don't necessarily have to follow it. Maybe you want to follow these steps instead. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answer. All of these say factor the following. So step 1 for all of these is to list the factors, and that's why I have factors everywhere. Right? And it's always factors of the last number. So I list my factors of 35, 1 and 35, 5 and 7. And my signs go minus plus. So back on the sign chart, minus plus says both factors are negative. So I put a negative in front of every factor. And now I add them. Negative 1 plus negative 35. Does that give me the middle term of negative 36? It does. So since I'm talking about the letter X in my expression, I have X in my answer. I have 2 sets of parentheses, and I just take my factors that added to give me negative 36, and I put that in my answer. So here's my expression that I started with. And down here, this is the factored form of x squared minus 36x plus 35. I do the same thing with the next one. I list the factors of 25, figures out which ones add to give me 10. So because it goes positive, positive, everything is positive. 1 plus 25 is not 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. So those are the factors that I'm choosing. Okay, let's try letter C. It says plus negative. So I list my factors of 18. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. And since it says plus negative is this very last one. It says the larger factor will be positive. So these are my larger factors. So if these are positive, that means these are negative. So now I figure out which ones add to give me 7. Negative 1 plus 18. That doesn't give me 7. Negative 2 plus 9. That gives me 7. So those are my factors that I'm going to use. Now notice here it says A, but down here I wrote X. Okay, it's very common for students to do that, and that's why I did that. I wanted to show you that yeah, as a mathematician, it should match the variable you have, but as your teacher, I am okay if you tell me that it's an X. Because what matters is these factors. I have a negative 2 and a positive 9. That's what matters. Okay, that variable, because it's just a one problem, we're not doing anything else with it, I'm perfectly okay with it saying x minus 2 times the quantity x plus 9. Letter D, E, and F are all very similar. You list your factors of the last term, figure out what your signs are, figure out which ones add to give you the middle number, and then you write your factors. Okay, for all of these, I circled the factors that work. So whatever I circled ends up in my solution. So make sure that you are factoring correctly. List the factors of the last term. Figure out which ones add to give you the middle term. And then write your answer. If you have questions, make sure you let me know. Otherwise,